Hello, and welcome back to a new OOTP 19 series that I wanted to try out for you guys. Now that the Super Bowl is over, I'm at least kind of back in the baseball mindset, but I also know that the new version of the game is coming out soon, so I don't think it makes sense to just take kind of the normal franchise series that I would normally do. So I wanted to try a bit of a what if series, just because this game is so complicated. You've got so many different scenarios that you can try out. Before I get started, I just wanted to thank you all. Like I saw a lot of people have viewed some of the earlier series I've done. And with the Montreal Expos series that I was doing before, basically I got busy and somewhere in the middle of that, I had to reset my computer, which means the game file was lost. So that's why I kind of never really continued that after a bit of a break. But I will definitely be doing the normal franchise series in OOTP 20. So the first challenge is, how many games would a team of the best players in baseball win during the season? And the reason I'm interested in this is because if you kind of look at basketball or football, there are teams that go, 16-0, or, the Golden State Warriors lost like 9 games the whole season, one year, a couple years back. So whereas in baseball, the Mariners won 116 games, which is still, it's like 70% of the games that you play, but it's certainly nowhere near like 90%. So I wanted to see, if you just got a team of all-stars, basically, how would that shake out? Okay, so we have fast forwarded a bit, done some wheeling and dealing to this Indians roster. I want to take a look at the payroll, actually. So yeah, our player payroll is $361 million. So if you're wondering how expensive the best team in baseball would be, that is how much it would actually cost if you were just buy all of the best players, at least under their current contracts. So our rotation, and this is just purely based off the ratings from OOTP. These may not actually be the best players, but this is the quickest way to do it. So we've got Kershaw, Kluber, Syndergaard, Scherzer, and Chris Sale. Chris Sale is our worst starting pitcher. Then the bullpen, Ken Giles, Aroldis Chapman, Andrew Miller, Kenley Jansen, Craig Kimbrell, Steven Strasburg, who's kind of a sixth starter as well, and then Sean Doolittle. Offensively, we've got Posey, Gary Sanchez, Freddie Freeman, and Goldschmidt can kind of have a platoon split. Jose Altuve, Arenado, Machado, Rendon, Lindor, Trout, Harper, Judge, and Stanton. Now, this isn't all kind of the best ratings, but I just wanted Judge to be on the team. I think he's a cool player. And then you might be wondering why I chose the Indians, and it is because the other teams in their division are the Tigers, Royals, Twins, and White Sox. So I figure if we're trying to figure out, how many games could they conceivably win, having them face the Tigers, Royals, Twins, and White Sox is like half the games they play, is a pretty good start. Okay, and the only setting I'm really touching, aside from the default stuff, is just putting me in control of the transactions and putting me in control of the trades, just so that, no one gets traded during the season. That would be kind of a bummer. So let's just sim ahead to the end of the playoffs and see what happens. Okay, so the season is finally over. It says we have a perfect score and we're an OOTP god. Little does it know that we have immensely cheated, but in sum total, we had 136 wins, but we did not win the World Series, which kind of goes to show you how fickle the postseason can be. What I really wanted to look at is the Pythagorean record, because that kind of shows you, based on run differential, what your wins total should have been. So we should have only won 134 games, which would have been an immense disappointment, but we ended up winning 136, thank goodness. So taking a look at some of these advanced numbers, you can see we were basically first in the AL and everything. Runs allowed was 484 versus runs scored, which is 1,132. I mean, that is incredible. Even among the things that we weren't really trying to be good at, like stolen bases or defensive efficiency, just getting the best players in baseball. They also happen to be very good at defense and very good at running. And then you do see batting average on balls in play. It was first in the American League, and what that suggests is that we were a little bit lucky. However, keep in mind that BABIP also has to do with defensive efficiency, which obviously we were first in, so that's probably most, if not all, the reason that the BABIP was so high. If we take a look at some of these splits here, we were actually better on the road, which is kind of funny. And we were pretty good in one-run games, not surprising given our bullpen. In June and April, we were 24-3 in that month, and our worst month was in July, where we only went 19-5. So yeah, basically 20 games better than the Seattle Mariners. If we take a look at our pitching staff, a lot of injuries apparently. Maybe that's, wow, look at these: UCL, herniated disc, and nerve entrapment. Well, that's wonderful. Basically pure domination. Our bullpen was pretty much lights out, especially Craig Kimbrell, 0.91 ERA. And then offensively, yeah, Bryce Harper, 9.2 win season. He's always really overrated in this game, but 50 home runs. He's not going to hit 50 home runs. Yeah, whatever. Maybe they'll adjust his batting stats going into this season after the down year he had in 2018. But yeah, you can see Trout, Lindor, Altuve, really dominant. I'd say the one guy, really two people who just did not have good years were Judge and Machado. Judge, he hit 201, and he slugged under 400. Machado, these are terrible numbers for Machado, and I understand it's only half a season, but my goodness. Now, I know in the standings tab here, you can take a look at some things you can see. No other team in baseball had 100 wins. We had 136. But I know that you can look at these expanded standings. You can see run differential for us was plus 648. No other team was over 200 except for the Red Sox, who are just over 200 at 229. So, effectively, we are blowing every other team out of the water. Now, it should be noted that for some reason, the Indians put a couple people like Anthony Rendon on waivers at some point in the season. Why would you put a guy who's got a 173 OPS plus on waivers? It makes absolutely no sense. So, you could caveat this and say maybe they could have picked up an extra game or two from Rendon's production on the bench. So anyway, that kind of answers that. If you want to spend, $360 million on a team, this is what you can do. But, basically, no matter how good your team is, unless you've got 25 Greek gods on your team, you're not really going to win more than 135 games. Please, if you guys have any ideas about something you'd like me to try in this game for one of these episodes in this challenge series, let me know in the comments below. I'd love to try your ideas out, and I will see you guys in the next episode.